Well, Bob Allen here for Good Morning Oxnard and Meet the Candidate. And we have a very special guest, Jim Hensley, who is a candidate for City Council at the City of Port Hueneme. He's been in here before, and we have a real good explanation of his position on Measure M. And Jim has stated that he would like to update that situation, and we've invited him back to the studio. So, Jim, please, it's your floor.
Great. Thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate it. As he stated, I'm Jim Hensley. I'm running for City Council in the City of Port Hueneme, California. And I see there's some really significant problems. We have to backtrack and establish the fact that the City of Port Hueneme has lost a lot of money in the economic development funds. And understandably, they need to make it up. But the way they're trying to make it up is not the best way to do it. In a sense, they've turned around and attacked two of the largest economic engines in the Ventura County area, which is the city of the Port of Hueneme and the naval base. This is not an effective way of ruining your relationships with your two strongest supporters. To give an example, the city of Hueneme currently gets $1.5 million in taxes just from the port. Plus, they get several $100,000, if not more than $1 million, from other shippers that go through the port. But they want to increase that. Instead of having $1.5 million plus the other part, they want to increase it up to somewhere in the neighborhood of $8 or $9 million, maybe. In other words, they're going to strangle, they're going to limit the golden goose that lays the eggs for the whole economic development of this county. For example, Carpinteria alone gets $1.8 million out of the total budget of $14.2 million that the ports is providing for people. The Ventura County itself, Ventura City is $1.5 million, and Oxnard gets about $9 million in taxes each year. Now, if Port Hueneme, the city of Port Hueneme, wants to grab and strangle that and increase the taxes, it's going to start hurting. It's going to start hurting the people in Port Hueneme, start hurting the people in the whole of Ventura County. And this is not right. The port business is a very hard business. It's a competitive business. And if you take and start adding to it, extra shippers are not going to come in. It's a free port, and when shippers find out they're going to have to pay more in taxes, they'll just go to another port. So they're actually, like I say, cutting back on the golden goose and really serving her. Now the problem with Measure M, they're not being very honest in presenting why they need to have Measure M. They're cutting back a whole mess of programs. One, they've cut back on the crossing guards for the city of Port Hueneme. These are little elementary school kids that went to school at the end of August, and they don't have any crossing guards. The parents were surprised about it. The city is still reneging on that fact, and they're negotiating with the Port Hueneme Elementary School District, and they're trying to shove it all off. It's a public safety issue. It's not a school district issue. And they keep saying, we've got another excuse to do this. Well, their excuses just keep running up. They've cut back on the senior meals program. Now I find out, going through the budget, they've cut back on the lifeguard program. And the lifeguard program is what brings the people into the city of Port Hueneme. They've cut down on the Boys and Girls Club, and they said, fine, we're going to just give them this other building to use. But the buildings that they use, and I talked to Colonel Tony Volante, former mayor, last night, what they want to give him in return from the old Boys and Girls Club are not adequate. They won't work. We have inequitable taxes at the present time, and they want to add to it. There's 29 pages of business tax laws. Places like Verizon may pay $300 a year. SoCal Gas may pay $450 a year in business taxes, but they want to sock some of the customers at the port for like $700,000 a year, or $2 or $3 million a year, depending. We need to ensure transparency of the city government of Port Hueneme. There's too many secret deals made before the meeting. They go back into the city and sit down, and the public doesn't see it. They've already programmed what agenda they're going to put through, such as Measure M. When Measure M came onto the floor, nobody knew what it was. And it was just brought out and said, we're voting on Measure M, all in favor, aye.
Jim, can I ask you one?
Yes, sir.
Can I ask you one question? I don't mean to interrupt.
No problem at all.
You've gone through an awful lot of things that you see that are wrong
Yes, sir.
in the city. If elected to the council, what would you be able to do that would change some of these things?
I'm glad you asked that, Bob. That's a darn good question. What they're trying to do at the present time is tack the easiest route to the port, or at least they feel it. The one thing that I see with the city, they have not kept on top of their beach program. They've gone for years just forgetting about it. They're asleep at the switch when they come in with the dredging for the beaches. And then what has happened, they've ended up with no sand on the beaches and they're being eroded away. Then the city is not interested in bringing in tourists. I was sitting at a city council meeting 2 months ago. A branding girl came in and gave a presentation on how to bring more business into the city of Port Hueneme. The mayor said, we're not interested in having more business into Port Hueneme. We have no way to capture their dollars. We don't want visitors here. They're losing a bet there. They don't try to reach out and bring in more. We have one of the lowest incomes in the whole of Ventura County. This could be changed. There's a lot of issues they could do, not just an excuse of attacking some of your other neighbors. Another thing they could do is start collecting on their current business license taxes and other taxes. If you look through the 29 pages of taxes, they don't collect equally on them. They could collect from the port more, they could collect from others more. So consequently, there's a lot of things that could be done. Another thing that I'm really concerned about is when the public comes in to speak to the city council, they have to wait till the end of the meeting. In other words, there's a crossing guard program, parents want to come in, have their kids with them because they can't afford babysitters. They have to sit there until 8 o'clock at night before they can get up and speak. It should be at the beginning of the meeting at 6:30, just like the Oxnard City Council does. This is a way to push people aside. Another way that they try to discourage, a lady came in 2 months ago and asked for internet TV, like through Bob Allen's KADY TV, so people could go back and watch the city council meeting. The mayor said, we have been here for 23 years, and my predecessors didn't want any broadcasting of TV done, and we're not going to start now. That's old fuddy-duddyism. I mean, a quarter of a century, we're going to stay with what old technology was that many years ago and not modernize and not let the public see what we're doing. So that's my concern about it. I want to promote a strong economy, promote tourism, restore and protect our beaches, and have friendly relations.
Well, Jim, I think that you, knowing you and the intensity of your passion for this, you know, all of us here at Katy can only wish you the best of luck,
Great.
And we hope to see you after November 4th.
Well, you're not going to see me before. You're a neighbor, Bob.
Absolutely.
You're going to cut me off at this point, huh? Okay.
Not at all, my
I'm
friend,
sorry.
not at all.
Bob Allen and KADY TV are some of the best support in this community can have. Thank you.